Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are on episode 14. We are
Ooh,
well into double digits.
yeah.
That feels so
And
good,
you mentioned the other day that we are in like the 3-month mark too,
right? I kind of
which
wanted
is
to
crazy.
Google to be like, what percentage of podcasts are like consistent for at least 3 months or more?
I know. It's probably rare. I mean, what do I
Probably.
know?
Like, we're probably like in the top 5%.
Top 1%.
Yeah,
Screw
let's
it.
do it.
Um, yeah, but there's like a lot of times where I find a podcast or a name or something and I go look at it and it's like haven't posted since 2020. And I'm like, wow,
Yes.
totally understand, but this is not that. We are not
No,
that.
we are not. We are like
We are here until the
consistent.
day we die. Can you
Wow.
imagine?
That would be a library right there.
That would be so fun. Can you imagine us like two little old ladies just like, and we're back.
There
Suddenly we
needs to
get an
be more of
accent.
that. We need like that population
Yeah,
in this.
seriously.
Yeah.
Let's manifest some interviewees that we can have
I
on.
love it. Oh,
Oh my God, we
yes.
love old people.
Love it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're
That's
putting that out
fantastic.
there. That's
Oh, that's
exciting.
and then we can be like, "Oh, remember 20 years ago when we talked about
Yeah. Being
this?"
20 years older.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, we're getting a little scrambled.
I love it. I love that so much. Okay, I got excited because we were like just so consistent and so much fun doing
hmm
this podcast. But we both kind of have like, I guess, kind of unique updates for
hmm
both of us. Like there's
I guess. Yeah.
kind of pivots in different ways.
hmm
Okay, so I'll start
Yeah.
with David and I will be moving and not just like down the street, but to a different state. We're going back to our roots, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
in good old Western Washington. Um, and it's been very like I think it's only been just over a week since it's like, okay, we're yep,
Like
this is
it's been
happening.
a week that it's been for sure, but I feel like
Yes.
you've been cultivating this within your relationship, within your life for some time now.
Yes.
How
That
did
is
it
very
feel
true.
when it became externally true? I feel like it was always internally true. How did it feel when it became externally true?
Great. I mean, it's like this in human design lingo, it's like, okay, root is on. Like, got a
Mm,
defined root.
my
Whew,
roots taking me to
okay.
my roots.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And that energy alone is all about like community and your, yeah, like
Yeah.
absolutely. Look at, I didn't even mean to do that, and I did.
Love it.
But yes, it's good. And then I just have to sit in the like, it's all going to work out
hmm
and all of that surrendering, which we'll talk
So
more
right
about
now,
today.
yeah, right now you're like in the waiting of where exactly you're going to live and exactly what date. Do you have dates yet?
Like
It's so
tentative. We have like a couple week
yeah.
window that we're like, oh, we know for sure when we need to be out of our current place.
Mm-hmm.
Because like right now we're renting, so we don't have to, do house debacles.
Mm-hmm.
So we know when we need to be out of our current lease, but like outside of that, it's pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes a hard place to be when you've
Mm-hmm.
like asked for something and you got it, but then it's not like super clear still, and you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, it's there. And
Yep.
this is like where I always say you have to hold the pose.
You
And
do,
this
and I
phrase
love that
is
phrase so
this is so
much.
funny. I'm bringing up Jazz of Moon twice now. I think I talked about her in the last episode,
Uh-huh.
but she always says, hold the pose.
Yes.
Hold the pose. That's where you're at right now.
It's so I just really, really love that. Like I,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it's this whole root thing, right? Like it feels so grounding. You just say
Yeah.
like it's a strong
Yeah.
confidence, but like also very feminine and like
Mm-hmm.
receiver and surrender.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, so that's
Mm.
been kind of the big,
That's a lot. You have a lot going on, a lot of
yeah,
changes.
yep,
But
yep.
I also just feel that these changes are so aligned to your authenticity and where
Hmm.
you're like moving in life as an energy being, and as a human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
So even though it's like change, I feel like it's very cozy change. At
Oh,
least that's
yes.
what I feel from you.
Yes.
Like
Way to
I
go,
want to go home with
projector.
you. I want to move with you.
I know. Come on over. I know I'm going to be living even farther away from, like, we couldn't, in the United States, we couldn't live farther from each other.
I know, but you were there when we met.
Yes. Yep. Just going
So
back.
yeah, I'm gonna come visit.
Yes.
I
Or I'll
just
visit
invited
you. We'll
myself.
figure it out. Okay,
um,
what about you though? Because you, even this last week, like you're kind of shaking up your energy and your time.
I am, and it's not as big as moving. Not yet. We're
But
going there though,
there's
but I don't have that
momentum.
update yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not externally real yet for me. I'm still in the internal change of my moving and living.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be sharing that part of my life.
Sure.
But a week ago, I don't know, I don't remember what sparked it, but my spleen, probably my spleen.
Likely.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what gave me this idea. And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's my inner authority. I just had this urge to get the F off social media.
Yeah.
Not because I was mad at it, not because I was not having fun posting and sharing and exploring. Like, I've actually been in a very healthy place in the sense of my exchange with it lately. But like, because every other time I've taken a break from social media, like a year ago or even years ago, or just
Mm,
the whole time I've had it, it's always been very like stressed out, like
yeah.
rejection, where I'm like, oh, I got to get off here. I can't deal with this anymore.
This
It's ruining my
toxic.
life. Yeah. I
Yeah.
need to run away from it. But a week ago, I was like, you know what? Something is telling me I'm supposed to take time away from social media. Like
Mm,
there was just space wanting to be created in my mind, in my body, and in my life.
yes.
And it's only been a week.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean, I popped
significant
on,
in social media land.
it is. It's like been 3 years.
Yeah, kind of. The pace of
I mean,
time there.
honestly, I did pop on Monday to post for Wow You Wait.
Oh, yep.
Like I'm not like rejecting it. I'm not mad at it. So I did hop on to do that work.
Yeah.
Um, and when I jumped on, it felt like there was like 3 years of content like on my friends, like, like every story of everybody that I'm interested in was available. And I was like, whoa, like
Right.
I'm missing out on a lot, but I resisted, didn't click. No
Sure.
clickbait there, but in this space and this time I've created, oh my gosh, just so much magic and love has come up.
Oh, that's nice.
I was telling Jess that I've been sleeping so much deeper.
Yeah.
I'm waking up with like puffy eyes, but not like lack of sleep, baggy
Mm-hmm.
eyes, just like well rested
Yeah.
because I haven't been having screen time. I haven't been thinking about what I'm supposed to be sharing on there. Like
Mm-hmm.
just this whole, like, even just around like the business, I've been releasing so much, like just releasing the grip of
Oh, yeah.
where the business is going, its
Sure.
purpose in my life. And I think social media was almost like I don't know, like a mirage that it was like moving in a certain way. Like I was
Yep.
able to kind of keep this like fake energy around it alive
Sure.
because I was like, well, I'm still showing up on social media, but like
Yeah.
my business, social media, everything just wanted like a rest.
Mm.
And so I'm resting
Yes.
way
Great.
better. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you're not sleeping, delete Instagram, delete whatever
Yes.
else you use. I'm mostly Instagram. So that's been great. And then also what's kind of filled that space is painting. I don't know if you saw my new painting up there.
Ooh,
Mountains,
I
which
love
is
it.
actually really cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
I recreated that painting. So that's not like an original idea of mine because I've just been
Sure.
practicing new styles. And I found out after I painted it and finished it and I went and found the artist because I just like picked a photo and recreated it.
Oh, cool.
Um, it's a digital print. So
Oh,
yeah, I have his name written down because I don't want to like steal any art here. Oh, Jameson Gish, digital
okay.
artist and visionary artist. Love his work. But
Cool.
it was digital and I reached out to him and I was like, "Oh my God, thanks for being an inspiration." But I thought I was so fun that I recreated it with a new medium.
That is awesome.
So I've been painting,
Yeah.
and it's been so fun. Raw joy feels very aligned. Like this,
Yep.
I've been
Yep.
talking about this artist identity that I've not been rejecting, but haven't been like accepting.
Mm-hmm.
Even in like previous episodes, it's like feeling like, "Ooh, no, this feels good.
Yeah.
This is more me than anything else."
Ugh.
At least right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I also cut my own hair.
Oh, okay. Have you cut your hair before?
I've cut my bangs before once,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but
That's risky.
yesterday I was like, why just I don't have a hair appointment until June
Yeah.
and I don't really need one. And but
Sure.
yesterday I was like, I just fucking am so sick of like it being so long. I was like, I'm an artist. I'm painting. I could cut my hair.
Yeah.
Not in my like I don't want to like discredit
Oh, sure.
the ability of a stylist.
Sure.
And I will be going back to the salon for sure to get it cleaned up and fixed up. But that was fun. It was very
Yes.
freeing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun.
I love
So
it.
that's what I've been up to. Random little fun things.
Oh, it's so good.
I feel like
That
I'm
is
in a
so
little
good.
bubble, like in my own little just bubble of love right now.
Oh, bubble of love. Who doesn't want to be the bubble of love?
Fun fact, I think one of my first AOL names was JBubble00.
Oh my God. I have no idea what mine was.
So I'm like right there. Also Jen Ren 1010 and Freckleface.
You had them. You. I have no idea.
My friends still like make fun of me for those. That's why I remember them.
I love it. Man, that's like a good like icebreaker question. Like what
Ooh,
was one of your first?
AOL names, AIM names.
Yeah.
Your
I have
first
no idea.
email.
Right? Even
Yeah.
though I feel like I don't use I know, I guess I don't use my very first email anymore.
Yeah.
Huh, that's funny. No, I didn't have fun
Yeah.
ones. I wasn't creative. Oops.
Yeah.
I could have
So
been.
yeah, that's kind of where I've been. And it's
That's
been
so great.
fun and like so joyful. And I feel so open and spacious and just like just there's just this channel. I'm connected to a channel right now
Mm.
of like creation, of
Yep.
life. And I was invited by my intuition, my spleen, to create that space so I can find this
Yep.
place.
Right, right. And I feel like, one like big area we haven't dove into is this
Mm-hmm.
whole idea around manifestation. Like it's,
Yes.
I could say it's quite the buzzword, especially in like our
Mm-hmm.
sphere of woo and, kind of
I
what
feel like it's everywhere now though, like I see it on TV on like my
yeah.
trashy reality shows, like people saying like, well, we'll just manifest a good table. And I'm like, whoa,
Oh my gosh,
I
that's
mean for
fair.
you.
That is fair. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that so much. But yeah, it's just this like it is. It's this like popularized word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
I
I
feel
think
like
that's
over the last
really
few years.
yeah. And I think it's a cool thing. Like I think it's
Mhm.
with anything that's new, just like human design is getting, we've said, bigger and bigger. And
Yeah.
there's going to be people who take it and make it super toxic and weird.
Oh,
People have
sure.
done that with manifestation too and created
Yeah.
all these rules and, capitalized on the
Sure.
concept.
Sure.
But we kind of want to talk about it because we think it is very unique in a
Yes.
sense. Like there are 12 laws of the universe,
Yep.
immutable laws of the universe that
Yeah.
really contribute to this idea of manifestation. We're not going to list those out. Maybe we can link them or something because I don't have them memorized.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. You can just
there
Google.
is this, thing called quantum physics that
There is quite a
that
thing.
explains scientifically what manifestation is to an extent.
Sure.
But we also feel like this process of manifesting and creating the things you desire and co-creating this world and bringing and calling in things into your life can be very unique to you,
Hmm.
your energy, your being, your identity, and kind
Yeah.
of your relationship with the universe. And we want to talk about kind of
Yeah.
that uniqueness and then see where we do cross paths
Yeah.
in the way that we do it.
Yeah.
So I think a good first question, Jess, is like, what do you identify as manifestation? Like, what is it in your world?
Yeah. I definitely feel that there are big and small manifestations in my life
Cute.
all the time. All the time. A big
Mhm,
part of it is that awareness, which I think
mhm.
like ding ding is probably the core theme for a lot of what we talk about in this space.
Just be
Um,
aware.
yes, awareness opens doors.
Yes.
But for me, like manifestation, that kind of universal exchange that we would say, like, oh, that's a manifestation. Look at that. For
Mhm,
me, it really comes when I am so clear
mhm,
on kind of quote unquote what that manifestation would be, and also clear on like, clear on all the aspects of it. Like, I'm thinking, well, why? What is it? Like,
mhm,
getting so specific, but then also with that, like, for me, it's like, okay, having that, but then also then going, okay, I trust it. I surrender to it. I know it's already on
mhm,
its way to me. So to me, I feel like if you don't have both of those like aspects,
Mm-hmm.
you may not be so satisfied or like be like, wait, what the heck? How are you talking about manifestation this way? And I mean that in like a very loose, but those are like two kind of key aspects that I've noticed in myself. If like earlier when we were talking, you were saying kind of loosening the grip. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, if you're gripping so hard on this
Mm-hmm.
manifestation, I'm not quite sure what that timeline's gonna look like versus letting go, surrendering, and just this knowing overcomes you. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
very different energetic like frequency for me when I get to that place and I'm like, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's there's motion happening here
Yeah.
um around that.
Yeah. And I resonate and agree with a lot of that. And I'm hearing you say, and I know that this is also what you mean, like um having clarity on what it is that you want or an idea, a vision of
Yep.
what you want,
Yep.
but not being attached to the how, which is we've
Yeah.
heard that like so many
Right.
times. But that's
Yes.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
Um
And what
I
about for
would
you?
yeah, I would say for me it's yes, yes and
Yeah. Love it.
um even kind of taking it a bit further like or going a little bit deeper. I feel like manifestation is remembering that like I am source.
Mm-hmm.
And everything around me
Yes.
is source. I am God and everything around me is God. We all have the spirit within us and
Sure.
around us.
Mm-hmm.
And that remembering of that truth is what taps me into like, oh, okay. Now I can get clear. Now I can surrender. Like it's like I
Mm-hmm.
need to remember that first because I can have
Yeah.
clarity and surrendering happening from the ego, the mind, like my humanness,
Yep.
and then it still doesn't happen for me. Like it's like
Right.
I really have to lean into that piece of like no, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
literally spirit here having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if I desire that authentically from that place, I can trust that it's going to come in.
Yes.
So it's like I have to
Yes.
back up. I gotta back it up to that
Right.
place.
Get up
Back
in
it
the
up,
club.
back it up, remember, and then shimmy forward and then let go.
Did we just create a manifestation dance?
We did.
Is this the next viral?
We did. Back it up, shimmy forward to clarity, and then let go.
Boom. Mic
Wow.
drop. That happened.
Wow. We could drop our mics too because we're
Oh,
talking into
I know.
them like we're on
So
stage
good.
or something.
Oh my gosh. The visualizations these last few episodes are on
We're
point.
really like sinking into ourselves here.
Yes, we are.
Nick even said that. He's all caught up. He's on the
Oh, thanks for
profiles.
listening,
What
Nick.
I know, what a sweetie. I love you, babe.
Mm,
But he's like, I'm like, this is gonna be easier for you. Now you just have one a week. He's been like churning through them to try to catch up.
yes. I
Um,
love that.
but he said, he was like, I feel like you guys have like, I can tell like the more you're talking,
Mm,
the more you're yourselves. And that's
sure.
supernatural, but kind of
Yes.
exciting. We're
Oh,
getting
that's
there.
so. Oh, thanks for the compliment. I
Yeah.
love it.
But yeah, so that's what manifestation is for me. Like
Yeah.
remembering that I'm co-creating. Like this
Yeah.
isn't it's not just about me. Like that's I mean, and
Right.
we've talked about that in previous episodes of like it's not just for me.
Yep.
Like me wanting the house or
Mm-hmm.
the career or the love or whatever it is. It's not because I want it, like Jenna Rossi wants it. It's
Yeah.
because spirit wants it. And I am also like the perfect match for it
Yep.
while
Yep.
here on the material plane. And that
Yes.
connection makes manifestation so much easier for me.
Absolutely. Yes.
It's not all up to us.
No, but I think there's also a lot of, dare I say, power
Mm-hmm.
when you start to play around with this whole concept of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Because even as you were talking about that, it's like, okay, I have this clear vision. Like
Mm-hmm.
my vibration is literally altering because of it. Like my priorities are getting clearer. How I'm behaving is starting to, excuse me, is starting to alter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, if you're, I'm trying to think of, if somebody's wanting a certain type of car, okay, well, then what's the feeling you will have in that car? And then you'll
Mm-hmm.
start to notice, oh, well, what other areas right now can I experience that feeling and
Mm-hmm.
like show the universe, ooh, I want this. Like I want this feeling. I want this in my life and I want more of it. And it's just this like
Mhm.
really fun. Every time I've gotten that clarity, it's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. Like
Mhm.
other things
Dominoes.
just, yeah, just start building that momentum. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying like I manifest something huge the next day by any means, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
is this vibrational change.
yeah, and I think you're speaking to like the hierarchy of change, which
Yeah,
is at the top level is changing. Well, it's spirit, source, I am, but then it's changing your identity. So like I was
right.
listening to, oh, what was I listening to? I like want to give credit to whoever this is. I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember. I don't know if it was a podcast. I don't know if it was a book. I
I
don't know. I've just been in my
was
bubble
like,
of
I don't
love.
remember you
I don't know
telling
if
me
I
about
said
it.
it. No. I don't know if I channeled it. No. Someone else said this. If I
Okay.
remember, I don't know. I'll share it somewhere if you care. But we're all just ideas of people. Like we're just an idea of ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh wait, I know where it was. It was on To Be Magnetic.
Sure.
And they were talking to some guy and they were talking about Christian Science, which I've never heard of.
Oh,
But it's similar to this concept of like I am hierarchy of change. The more you change your identity,
okay.
because you're just an idea of something, right? So like
Yep.
this whole playing out of I am a runner.
Yes.
I've been
Okay.
saying it on every episode pretty much. Like I am a
Yes.
runner. I am changing my identity from not a runner to I am a runner. Like that
Right.
was at the identity level. I was
Mm-hmm.
doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there my beliefs and my morals and values start to change. I've
Right.
been like, you know what? Like, I value time on the treadmill. I value physical health because runners do.
Sure.
And then lower than that is behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I start running. That's where I just bought 2 new pairs of sneaks, by the way, in the last
Ooh,
week. Found some great deals in this space of no social media.
love it.
Um, so 2 new pairs of sneakers. Nick makes fun of me because I say sneakers.
That
Do
is
you say
kind of funny.
sneakers?
Nope, I do not.
What do you
Shoes.
call them?
I would
Just
say shoes are like
shoes?
running shoes. Yeah.
But like shoes are all shoes. I'm talking about
Yep.
sneakers.
Yep. I mean, I know what you say when you say
I
sneakers, but
know, but
yes,
I don't know
I
why
don't
more people
default.
don't say that. Um, but that's the behavior.
Yes, right.
And then you receive. Then I'm a runner and I'm receiving the benefits from it. So
I
that's
love
like
it.
that hierarchy of
Yep.
change or like thinking about the idea of who you are versus like the external
Mm-hmm.
truth first. Um, but I forget why I was rambling about that. I just feel like you were talking about that. Like
Yes,
that's what you were
for
kind of
because as
playing out.
right, like it's this clarity, and then there's like that vibrational change that
Yes.
happens, and then you notice, oh, I can receive this.
Yeah.
I can have this exchange in completely other ways
Yeah.
outside of this like quote unquote like reach the mountaintop
Yeah.
manifestation.
Yeah.
Which I feel like it's a really fun space to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. And that vibrational change is kind of moving through those levels of the hierarchy of
Right.
change. If you want to put it in some sort of structure, feel free to
Yeah.
look that up.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah. But
easy
for
to
me, like
follow.
I always have to go back to the top of that and remember like I
Right.
am source. And that for me, like sometimes you miss that. Like you forget that because you're being human and
Yeah,
you're
right.
playing on Mother Earth and you're enjoying all of the luxuries and, you know, getting excited about all the luxuries that are here
Mm-hmm.
and you want to go get them, but taking it to the take it to the top. Isn't that a song?
I feel like we're just in a club right now. Like we're just
I feel like we're always at a club.
I know.
Meanwhile, when was the last time we've been to a club? I don't know. What is a
Long time.
club?
Long time ago.
I don't even know what a club is. So yeah, that's our idea of manifestation.
Yeah.
I think it was a complete thought. But let's
Yes.
dive into like ways we've manifested or times or things we've manifested in the past so that we can kind of give some not that I feel like anybody needs to be educated on this. There's so much education, but some
Sure.
fun ways like where we can say, oh yeah, we definitely were in the energy of manifestation at that point
Yeah.
in our lives. Like what's something that comes to mind for you?
Okay, so big ones come to
Yeah.
mind first, and I'm actually trying to think of like a what was more of a smaller one, but I'll just start with the bigger one because I think
Hmm.
the smaller kind of medium size ones are really powerful. Like,
Yeah, they don't get enough credit.
yes. Yeah, like I feel kind of like a poser a bit, being like, "Oh, here's my big one." Like, but I'm going to start there because this is where it's like
This is
I don't
what
know.
you're like more consciously aware of in the day to day. Like, I want
Yes.
that big thing.
Yes. Okay, so the biggest one, and I don't mean this in a cliche way, but I do feel like I was very intentional manifesting the relationship with David that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So like meeting David
Why is that cliche? F that. It's not
because it's like,
cliche.
oh, I manifested my partner. I don't mean it in that way. Like
Yeah.
that is the
But
judgment
you
I
but
feel
you
like I'm
did.
getting.
No, nobody's judging you. You did.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
And
So
everybody else can too.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Um, but it is also one of those that it was not a fast manifestation as
Mhm.
well. And it really that energy shift, that vibrational shift started when I realized the common denominator in all of the relationships I have had previously, the common denominator is me. So I was like, oh,
No.
whoopsie. Okay, if
Yeah.
it's me, okay, well, what do I need to do with that? Like,
Yeah.
okay. And that was like, starting to journal out like dating history and pattern,
Mhm.
all of that. I went
Mhm.
I went that route to like investigate my patterns.
Mhm.
And I could see patterns in the type of men I was dating,
Mhm.
but then it's like, wait a minute, I've been in all those relationships. Like,
Yeah.
it's me. It's me. I'm the common denominator.
I'm the problem.
Problem. Hi, Taylor Swift. Um, so yes, and this was many years ago before that
Yeah.
song ever came out.
Yeah.
But that was like the real starting point. And then I started to dive in and be like, okay, well, if that's the case, it's been a lot of years that I've been in these patterns. I'm gonna
Mhm.
need some support. Like
Mhm.
I need to do something differently.
Yeah.
Um, so then that's when I was really exposed to be magnetic.
Mhm.
So they have a podcast and they have a whole platform and everything for like guided meditations and all this stuff. And they
And they have
have a
a
certain
very like I should say not to interrupt you, but like
no,
specific process around manifestation. They
yes,
have a very like logical step by step
yep,
like language around
yes,
manifestation. Even though it's very versatile, they
yep.
have a process that you can follow.
Absolutely. Um, and so I did. Like they had, I don't know what it's called now, but it's like love or dating or relationship,
Mhm.
something like that. Um, this whole multi-day sort of thing you go through and
Mhm.
so many journal prompts. Oh man, so many, but I did all of
Yeah.
them. Um, and that was really the start of it to be like, oh wow, and really starting to unlock those patterns. And then I realized, oh, okay, so now I know what I've been doing because I really
Mhm.
didn't know before. Like I gave no intention in that patterning. So that was
Mhm.
really powerful. And then it was very easy to go, well, what do I want now? Like, what is that ideal? And getting
Mhm.
again into that like expansive space. Um,
Clarity.
yes. And when before this, I would have been like, oh yeah, I know what kind of man I want in my life.
Mhm.
No, I did not know. I did not know at all.
I was gonna like bring that up, and I know this is a part of their method. But like I wrote down like authentic manifestations, and I feel
Yes.
like sometimes like I mean, and I don't want to just spend time talking about their process, but like there's this truth in that like we think we're manifesting, we think we're calling in the thing we want, we're spending so much time wanting it,
Yeah.
and it's not coming in. Like that's,
Mhm.
the block like for you, a
Yep.
relationship. And
Yep.
like you said, you thought you knew what you want. And I felt that more so like in career, like thought I
Yeah.
knew what I want, thought I knew what I want. It's not coming. It's not coming. WTF, it's not coming. Like I had
Right.
very clear. And then you go into that patterning and you're like, oh, that's ego driven.
Yeah.
That's lower in the pyramid. That's not the
Yep.
I am. That's not what spirit wants. That's not what my spirit self wants. I want
Yes.
a relationship or a career. And
Yes.
so if like you're blocked, like that's also a great place to look like, wait, do
Yep.
I want this? Like what is
Yes.
really true? Who is my authentic self?
Absolutely.
Totally
Yeah. No, I
interjected
mean,
there,
that's like
but
a
yeah.
core foundation for
Mhm.
it. Um, because again, it gets back to that frequency and that vibration, right? Like
Yeah.
it won't be appropriate if it's not authentic.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, pretty much it was just I got super clear. I literally wrote out very, very specific like character traits, all
Oh,
those things. I even had a
mhm.
coach for a hot minute who was super helpful.
I didn't
And
know
like,
that.
yeah, I mean, we met twice. Like this, once I was in this process, the manifestation happened very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I took a month of doing a meditation every morning and every evening, and I journaled
Mhm.
after each one. And then I created my list of characteristics. I met with her, and she actually really went like a whole layer deeper of like, okay, I get that. That's surface level. What's a layer deeper? Like getting to that
Ooh.
feeling and the values. So then
Mhm.
got that real honed in. I was like, ooh, that feels real good. Like non-negotiables are all
Mhm.
of these. Um, and then after I did the 30 days, she was like, okay, you got to get on dating apps now. And I was like, oh, okay, which I've done that before. That was not a new thing at that time.
Yeah.
And I think what she said, this is where it veered off course. I think she said she wanted me to go on 5 dates in 2 weeks. So one of
Mhm.
those that like just go out, just meet someone new,
Mhm.
see how it is, no attachments, even maybe do it with someone that you're like, it's probably not like I'm not
It's
really
a
sure.
no for me.
Yep, but they're here. Like, sure, let's go grab coffee or
Yeah.
you can buy me dinner. Like,
It's almost like, so from an energetic standpoint, I'm hearing like releasing expectations
yes,
is a little bit of a
yes,
theme through this 2-week period.
yep, totally removing the pressure, but
Mhm.
showing action, right? Like the
Mhm.
intention's very clear, but that
Mhm.
grip is gone. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I haven't dated this way. And I was very excited for that. I was like, oh, this sounds great. Like, easy, just meeting someone new. Like, okay, I will do this. I thought 5 in 2 weeks. I was like, I don't know if I'll meet that number, but I'll
Did
give it
you?
a go. And literally, so there's a handful of guys probably chatting in the app. I was using Hinge at the time.
Mhm.
But the first guy I met in person was David.
Stop. And
Yeah.
I'm like, as you were describing, okay, this whole process, and David, if you're listening, hello, you are the lucky winner. Like
That's so
all this
sweet.
work, like all
So
this
sweet.
work. I mean, it's work, but it's fun. It's also fun because it
Yes.
affects so many other areas of your life, which I'm sure we'll
Yes.
start talking about. But like you've been doing all of this inner work and getting
Yep.
super clear and aligning to source
Yep.
and taking the inspired action.
Yep.
And like da da
But
da,
yeah,
here's the baby.
but the thing that shifted for me
Mm-hmm.
was the attunement, was the knowing, oh, now I
Mm-hmm.
know what I want. And if
So
that's
yeah,
not
that
something he,
authenticity.
yeah, that he possesses, no shade
Mm-hmm.
on him. Like it was
Yeah.
just this like detachment, but in a
Yeah.
very like lovely way that it's like, I don't need to put pressure on meeting this new person. Like we're just going to
Mm-hmm.
meet. And if it's great, we'll hang out again. And
Yeah.
David, we just literally kept hanging out and it's almost been 4 years and it's been great. But he's also an individual who's done a lot and continues to do a lot of inner work. Like,
Yeah.
he's,
He was on your level of like
yes,
consciousness. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
interesting because you're talking about authenticity and
Hmm.
like one of my bigger manifestations, if we're talking about big manifestations,
Yep.
I'll also include some little ones,
Yep.
was like buying a home. I
Sure.
almost said house, but I want to call it my home.
Yes.
Back in 2020. So
Oh,
we
that's when you
started
bought your
looking.
house?
Yeah, we got married February 22nd before the pandemic when
Right.
small weddings were unique. And then 2020 pandemic happened, quarantine, all the things. And so
Yeah.
looking at houses during quarantine, like in April, May.
Wow.
So I remember walking through houses and like our realtor couldn't come and stuff, and we had to wear like gloves and shoes and like clean everything as we're like looking around in these houses. But we ended up, and it's so funny, it was like years before I drove through this neighborhood and I was like, oh my God, I love this
Yes.
neighborhood. It's
Yes, yes,
so
yes.
cute. I want to live here one day.
Yes.
Well, I started driving through it again. Like we were looking at houses in all different areas, but I started driving through that neighborhood again. I started believing that it could be true for me. And
Mm-hmm.
um I would like wave at the neighbors and like it was that
You're in
identity
it.
piece. Yeah, like I was
Yes.
like trusting already. I was the I
Yes.
am, but then I was really embodying the identity of living there. And we were looking and I eventually we just kind of like expanded our what's it called? Price range.
Oh, sure.
And this house popped up randomly we hadn't seen. It was technically like out of our price range of what we wanted to spend, but we're like, okay, let's go look at it. It's been on the market for a while.
Mm,
Ended up getting it for significantly less. It was a
cool.
fully remodeled older home, trees.
Love
It had
it.
all the things on my list that I wanted.
Yep.
Did the same work as you.
Yep.
Um, and what was really cool was like that happened. And then I also got a lot of manifestations within it. So, like, we needed a
Hmm.
kitchen table because we were in an apartment. My cousin Tiffany, shout out to Tiffany, was like, hey, Wayfair, little funny thing, Wayfair, one of her, like the table she ordered had like a chip on it or something. So
Hmm.
she needed a piece of her table replaced. Contacted, I think it was Wayfair
Sure.
overstock. They were like, we'll just send you a whole new table.
Yep.
And then she's like, do you want this other table? Like all of these little
Cool.
things for the house
Yes.
too just started coming together so easily.
Yes.
And I bring this up and this manifestation up because I feel like it was authentic to me
Hmm.
to really want a home at that point in my life and experience that.
Yes.
And like I can compare that to things I've tried to manifest in my business
Mm,
that I thought I wanted or that
yeah.
like probably I still think I want, like they're still in career, these like
Yeah.
ideas
Yeah.
that aren't aligned to my authentic self. And that's like the
Right.
discovery process I've been in recently. But I
Hmm.
find it so funny that I can manifest home and like material, tangible, like cozy,
Hmm.
physical, environmental things super easily and
Yes.
experiences super easily. Career is my area of still figuring it out because I think I'm still getting closer to my authenticity in that
Yeah.
area of my life.
Absolutely.
And
And I
that's cool.
love that it just shows that alignment, right? Like these other things
Mhm.
being really attracted
To me, yeah, because I'm in
to your
alignment
physical
with them.
space.
Like we're on the same page. Like we're all
Yeah.
on the same page here.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so
And
yeah,
then,
I think go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say like another like funny thing that makes me think of for like my example with relationship with David. Like soon after we first met, just started to date, he made a comment of like, I'm like noticing just like money on the ground. Like there was like a $20 bill somewhere. And like even outside of the condo I was living, there was like a blank check. Like it was a business blank check. And I was like, that's dangerous.
Oh my God.
But it had the address. And so we were like, oh, it goes to this unit. So we, tucked it under the door. Um, but like change, dollar bill, like kind of
Hmm.
throughout our relationship, there's this theme of just like, oh, money just kind of
Love and
pops up.
money.
And we're always just like, "Oh, that's fun. That's a nice reminder." Like,
Yeah.
so it's even those sorts of things. That's just like when I'm aware of that,
Hmm.
it's like, oh, that puts me in a higher vibration.
Well, I feel like that also speaks to like we don't have to create money. Like we're not the creators of money. We're not the givers of money. Like we don't make money.
Mm,
We're not printing money from
we are
like
not.
money's again, it's subjective, like a lot of things we talk about.
Yeah.
Like the universe creates money and
Mm,
exchanges it and brings you the people that are meant to give it to you and the things you're meant to invest in. Like we're not the creators of money. We don't
mm,
make money. We
mm-hmm.
experience it and receive it and share it. But so it kind of makes me think about like I don't know if this is true, right? This isn't a blanket statement yet,
Sure.
but just the more we focus our manifestations on things elsewhere, like love, like
Yes.
family, like
Yes.
maybe even, our service in the world, whatever that is, without the money piece of it,
Yes.
like the money's just going to come
Yes.
because you're
Yes.
vibrating at an authentic, like, I don't think authentically any of us are like a dollar bill.
Right.
Like
Right.
we maybe authentically are here to be a mother or a
Sure.
friend or, whatever it is.
Yes.
And then because we're in that authentic vibration of that identity,
Hmm.
like the money's just going to gravitate towards you because you're in alignment. So,
Yes.
do we really
Absolutely.
need to manifest money? I don't know.
Well, and I think you're talking about like your core values,
Yeah,
right? Like getting
true.
back to that priority, which I
Mhm.
think in society today, I mean, that's not talked about. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, oh no, you have to prioritize 20 things in life. Okay, well, that
Yeah.
literally is illogical. Like, I don't like
Mhm.
that's not possible.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
need to
and even
simplify.
like okay, so we've talked about raw joy
Yes, we have.
previously.
Yep.
And I've shared a little bit about my fascination with like interior decorating and how much fun it is for me.
Yeah.
And since sharing that, like I've gotten so many invitations from friends, past energy coaching clients, family to help me decorate, like asking me to help them decorate different things in
I
their
love it.
houses and
Yes.
lives.
Yes.
But also like my cousin said to me too, which shout out Jessica, I have a lot of cousins. Not a lot.
Hi.
It's just it's a small group. It's a little girl gang. But she reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I got another thing. I got Amazon accidentally shipped me two interior decorating books. Do you want
Okay.
one? Do you want one? I'm looking at my bill. I only paid for one. Do you want the other one?" I'm like, "Holy shiz." So
Right?
like there's that evidence that like when you're being authentic to what you enjoy, what you value, what you love, the
Yes.
universe is going to be like, "Here you go. Affirm.
Yes.
We're on track."
Yes. And I love that like combo of their like your, especially because you have a fourth line, but your inner
Mm,
circle or your people
yeah.
know, right? Like
Yes.
they know that
Mhm.
desire, that direction, those values.
Mhm.
So then when they get something or are, in the sphere of something, like
Mhm.
automatically they think of you.
Mhm.
And then like here's an invitation, which is so beautiful as a projector to then be
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I love
Yeah.
this. Like I feel so recognized. I'm invited. Like
Yeah.
I have this
But
awareness."
it makes me giggle and like it's like my ego, right, for
Mm.
some time has been very, let's say, addicted to an identity. Like I
Oh, sure.
left corporate
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
then I became a coach and that was something that I'm very passionate about,
Yeah.
but like almost like an addiction to that identity or
Yes.
that
Yes.
service, that piece of the change of hierarchy was like, I was like, no, this is set in stone. There's like no other option.
Right.
And things weren't coming in as easily from my network. But then as the
Right.
more I'm shifting into my authentic creative self,
Yes.
that's when like people are like, oh, fucking throwing things at me. Like I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah, sure. And that's the same
Yes.
with home. Like I value home, I value
Yeah.
family, I value my space. And
Yes.
so it's very easy there. So I feel like that's wherever there isn't, if you're like a self-aware being and you're doing the work and you're
Yeah.
expanding in any like
Mm-hmm.
any way possible, even if it's like inches at a time,
Oh, sure.
you should be able to receive in some area of your life. And if you're
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
it's probably like a lack of authenticity there.
Yeah.
Again,
And I,
making blanket statements, but this is what's channeling through.
oh yeah. Well, and I think that that is a really key point that we haven't hit on is like, okay, so there's this clarity piece,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and this clarity is really connected with your authenticity, right? So it's
Yes.
like, whoop, really that I am like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
ooh, I got it. I'm here. Like vibrationally, I feel different. Like I know for me, granted, I'm not saying this is for every
Yeah. We're talking about
being,
our unique styles.
but like I've mentioned before, like I'll go from a more like frantic energy to my knowing. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
literally, it's like me, 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 me. And then it's just like this nice little, oh, okay, like
Like
in
a
the
fish.
water.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a
just,
fish.
yes,
I
just
just saw
in it.
something.
And it's like, okay, I'm there. I'm here. It's
Just keep
coming.
swimming. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. But this piece that you're bringing up about receiving, especially
Mm,
in society today, I think that's where this quote unquote, like the universe tests you narrative
mm-hmm.
comes in this realm of receiving. Because if something comes your way and when you're not aware of it, or you don't feel worthy of receiving it, how can you
Mm-hmm.
expect a bigger thing to come your way if that quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote smaller thing test
Yeah.
is you're not going to receive it. So
Yeah.
there's also I like those components that with that receiving that I think is so critical for your self-worth, your authenticity.
Yeah.
Because if you don't receive kind of that first opening, that big one is just
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah. So like but we're saying we're inviting everybody, including ourselves, to pay attention to the evidence is like basically
Yes.
what we're saying. Like there's evidence everywhere that you're meant to receive everywhere in every area of life.
Yep. Yep.
You know, if you're not receiving, well, are you? Are you
Yeah.
actually? Like maybe you
Yes.
are. And like
Yes.
just get out of the box of what you think it looks like.
Yes.
And then if you're still you checked all the boxes, there's nothing in any of the boxes. You're running around, you don't see, receive anything. Check if it's authentic to you,
Yeah.
that you actually want it, or why do you want it? Is it ego driven?
Sure. Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
Something else I want to talk about, and I don't know if this plays into anything that we're saying, but I mentioned it before we jumped on, and it's just been something I've been becoming more and more aware of, is this idea that like so then we sold our house. Okay. So
Sure.
I
Right.
got the
Yes.
house, and
2020 bought a
then,
house.
yes. And then Nick and I decided and came to a season in life where we realized like, hey, this isn't authentic anymore. Like it wasn't, it required too much time commitment, like physical labor to take care of the yard and the outdoors. And
Okay.
so we could tell things were starting to happen, like just little shit. The electrical wire fell over our
Mhm.
driveway. We couldn't get out. It was a snowstorm, just like little
Oh
things where we
gosh.
started to just get like, oh, wait, this isn't bringing me joy anymore
Yeah.
in the way that I know it could or it did previously. And so
Yes.
we decided to sell the house. It sounds like we're selling it because an electrical wire fell down, but we kind of did.
It was like the physical.
Yeah, I was starting to get signs because I wasn't honoring what we wanted
Yep.
inside.
Yep.
And so when we went to sell too, like me, Nick, and our realtor, my cousin Jeff, shout out to Jeff. I have like seven
Love it.
cousins I
Get your
mentioned.
peeps in here.
We sat down at a table at my kitchen table and we were talking about pricing, listing price, all that. They had set a number that like, oh, we'd be lucky to get this. Like,
Yep.
honestly, we put a fence up. That was all we did. The house was already like brand new,
Mm.
remodeled.
Yep.
And I was like, no, like, absolutely not. I'm not settling for that. Like, I'm not settling. It was almost like I describe it as kind of like a gambling energy,
Mm-hmm.
which is just ultimate trust. It's ultimate surrender. I'm not like
Mm.
supporting like addictive gambling, but like
Yeah. Right.
with the universe, there is that sense for me. Like, I know when I try to cap myself in business or in life, or
Yeah.
I put a explicit number on like, I want this, like I'm raising myself to this number,
Mm-hmm.
I limit the channel, I limit my potential, I limit what
Mm-hmm.
I can really receive. So an example of
Yes.
that was like, I was like, no, like I definitely at least want this. I don't really care. I don't really
Mm-hmm.
care what you think. Like, this is
Right.
what I'm accepting. This is my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And we reached that. It worked
Of
out.
course.
But how
Yes.
this kind of like, I think how I use that now, like in my business, let's say, previously I've been like, okay, I want to sign 5 new clients this month.
Sure.
That 5 is a cap for me because I'm just
Yes.
trying to get to 5, right? Or like
Mm-hmm.
it has that frequency of like you're trying to meet the external world instead of
Yes.
calling the external world into you. And
Mm-hmm.
rather now I would say something like 5 is my minimum.
Mm.
Universe, you show me what I just like, you show me what you want to create, what you want to get, what you want out of this life. But like 5 is my humanness minimum
Yeah.
that I can accept in this co-creation. And I feel
Right.
like that's just that awareness of what energy I need to be in and how it feels individually. For me, it feels like a gambling, like, no, I'm not settling energy.
Mm. And is that even like thinking of keeping this example going of like the 5 clients
Mm-hmm.
for it being starting as a max, seeing no, that's my min, that's my
Yeah.
foundation. Is there even another step for that of like that communication with the universe, however that takes shape for an individual? Is it even this like in my work, in my focused
Mm-hmm.
hours, I want to call in somebody who XYZ, like this, the
Mm-hmm.
feeling, getting to that feeling
Mm-hmm.
layer of it, that values. Like, I want to
Yeah,
call in clients that I know I am serving, that I know I'm giving
mm-hmm.
my uniqueness. And through
For
that,
sure.
I'm like financially stable.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's an even better way to look at it.
Well,
But
because
like
business, it really trips people up. I mean, that
for
is,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. But I think I'm not even like 5, 1, 10,
yeah,
whatever the number is, like
yeah.
what I'm speaking of is like this, like it's non-negotiable. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so for what you're saying is
Mm-hmm.
like non-negotiable, like I want my clients and I's relationship to feel like this. That's a
Yep.
non-negotiable. So like
Yep.
whatever you're looking for,
Yes.
feeling financial support, again, that maybe wasn't a great example because it was more like
Oh, I think it's a great
number
example.
based. But yeah, but that
Yeah.
feeling of like finding your yeah, your authenticity. It comes back
Yeah,
to
yes.
authenticity. But like
Yes.
for me, it feels like a gambling, like, no, I'm not settling.
And
Whatever
hearing you
way that
say
wants
that,
to come in, I don't care, but I'm
mhm,
not settling.
yeah. And it just like to me, that's like, oh, your spleen, like
Yeah.
your intuition, your knowing, like boom, it's on. Like
Mhm.
it is 100% on. Like you're
Yeah.
not you're holding that pose in that like
Yeah.
expansion. And I think that's amazing. Because I would say similar for myself when I get
Yeah.
into that
Even when you were talking
fish
about
mode.
you're like, you are the lady at sea. You are the water lady because you were on a boat, remember, with your captain's hat a couple episodes ago in your interview. I remember everything. I'm a Cancer.
Oh,
and
you're
then,
right.
and I literally remember every single thing about everybody that I've ever met.
I love it.
Um,
Yes.
and now you're swimming at sea.
Yeah, I'm swimming at sea.
But you
And
said that like before we jumped on about
yep,
your non-negotiables for moving home right now. And like
yes.
you have some very clear like
Yep,
your clarity.
we do. We do. And I will say something like this. I've moved quite a bit. Like I probably have been renting probably 15 years, I would
Mm-hmm.
get estimate. Every single place I've lived, thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah.
There was just one place where I kind of had a loud neighbor up above, but like, meh, whatever. It didn't happen that often.
Yeah.
Didn't stay there that long either. Like,
Yeah.
it still was a great location. Um, so I have a lot of proof in my external reality for
Yeah.
this. So that's also something, the more, I guess this is one thing we can kind of like maybe wrap up on as we just keep
Mm-hmm.
chatting about manifestation because it's a juicy topic.
It's fun.
Um,
It's life. It's co-creating.
it is. It absolutely is. But one thing that I really started to do is write down all the manifestations, all the
Mm-hmm.
fun things, all the joyful things, all the awareness items of like, well, that was interesting. Ooh, I noticed this. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so fun to look back at those and be like, oh, it's happening all day, every day for
You're
me.
like, whoa, I'm powerful.
Yes. And it doesn't take much to like get into that vibe
No.
because it is. I even remember one day I was talking with an individual and I was helping her with a membership. And it was a very like queen type energy. Like it was like the vibe
Mm.
we were going for like
Yeah.
this queen vibe. Um, and then I remember going, okay, great. And then I went out to a new park for a walk after that. And as I'm driving, there's a truck. And on the back of the truck, it says Royal. Like it's literally a type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
truck. And I just giggle. I take a photo and I sent it to her. I was like, well, we're on to something here.
Yeah. It's little things are
Yeah.
manifestations.
Like in
Yes.
that, I wrote it down. Like that was
Yeah.
cool. Like that got my creative juices
That's
going
so
even
funny
more.
that it was on the back of a truck because I always notice things there too. Like I went on that retreat 1 year ago. It's been a year since I've gone and
Yes.
met all the lovely ladies. But while I was driving there, I drove there by myself 8 hours because I didn't want to fly.
It's all good.
Conversation for another day.
Yeah. We can talk about that.
But I am driving there on this. I'm listening to what's the book I told you about? The devil one.
Oh,
Conversation with the Devil, or what is it?
I'm going to look it up. You keep talking.
Okay. So I'm listening to that book and I'm driving and I get behind this tractor trailer and it has a bumper sticker on it and it says Ashley. And I was going to Ashley Gordon's retreat. And I was
Oh,
like,
I
oh
love
look, following on my way to Ashley. Like I'm
it.
on the right path. I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like it's
That is so
crazy. Those little
good.
signs are like we think they're just signs to I don't know, like we think when you see 222, like we're
Sure.
like, oh, cute. But no, like they're actually, those are little nuggets of manifestation of like, keep going. You're doing a great job. And I think that's
Right.
what we meant by like your manifestation style, just the way we've talked about like the language of your body. What
Hmm.
is the language of your manifestation? You know, how do
Absolutely.
you know you're on track? How do you know you're blocked? What is my screen
Yes.
doing? It's like tripping out the light. Did you notice
Yeah.
that?
We're in the club.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes. This is a sign. Look at that. It's like, woo, yes, keep going.
Keep it going,
Um,
ladies.
but writing down that evidence, like you had said, and then
Yeah.
finding those clues of like, okay, well, when things were really going well for me in life, when I was calling in the things I desire, like
Yeah.
what was that language? How was I looking at the world? What was I paying
Yes.
attention to? Because that's your manifestation style.
Yeah.
And then when things weren't going well for you, how were you behaving? Who were you showing up as? Like what were you seeing then? And that's kind of what blocks you. I mean, it's kind of that simple.
It
There's
is.
not like this magical 7-step thing or a right
Yep.
or a wrong way to do it. Just
Yep.
paying attention to how it works for you.
Yes. And like as I was saying for like to be magnetic, that's like the core of it, right? Like
Yeah.
they have crafted prompts and guided meditations for you to identify
Yeah.
those patterns, those
Both of
blocks that
those.
aren't working, and
Yeah.
then the
The
things that
pings.
do work. Exactly. So but that's what it comes down to. Like it is. It is simple, energetic.
It can be easy.
It can be easy. And the book you were referencing is Outwitting the Devil,
Oh, yeah.
by
Oh,
Napoleon
such
Hill.
a good book.
I have it on Audible. I haven't gotten to it yet. You give me a
Are
lot
you
of
kidding me?
books.
You haven't
I
listened to that
haven't.
one yet?
No. I'm still also listening to The Courage to be Disliked.
Also a great one.
Yes, which we'll talk about all of these at some
I
point
would
once I get
also,
through
just
them.
since we're shouting out books, another one,
Yeah.
War of
Yes.
Art. The War of Art.
Oh.
So good. I can't remember who it's by, and I don't feel like pulling up my phone because I'm
Okay, well
slower,
then
but
I'm going to do one more. So we round it out. The Science of Getting Rich is super short. It's literally a
so short.
2 hour and 19-minute audio book. It's like a
Mhm.
pamphlet in today's age, written in like the early
It's shorter than
1900s.
our podcast episodes.
Whoopsie.
Uh,
But we will talk about that book at some point because
yeah,
we
we're
both
gonna
have
do like
listened
a
to it
book
multiple
club
times.
episode.
Yeah,
A little
it's a
book
good
club.
one.
Okay.
And kind of what we
Well,
were talking about today.
yeah, and I don't, that was a little like random
We just had to.
pitch for a bunch of different books that we love, but they've all supported us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you're blocked, find that evidence, open the channel of communication to source, start paying attention,
Yes.
get clear on your values and what you really want, remove those blocks, experiment, and then you know what else? Wait.
Ding ding. What we talk about.
We always forget to bring up waiting.
We do, which is so funny.
But that's the point of the podcast. It's
It
not
is.
to become an expert at waiting. It's to fill our time while we're waiting
Exactly.
because we're all
Yes.
waiting for something.
Heighten that attraction,
Yes.
that
And I would
attunement,
say, like,
that
to kind of
alignment.
close, we can close the loop here.
Yep.
I've cultivated, I said, more space in my last week alone.
Right.
And more things of alignment have come in. And I would say I didn't
Yes.
just cultivate space, I cultivated like waiting. I
Mm,
removed distractions and kind of cultivated and invited some like essence of waiting into my life because
mm.
normally when I was waiting for my coffee to brew or for dinner to be done or all the little things that happen throughout the day, I was grabbing my phone and
Yeah.
like deleting waiting from my life, removing it
Yes.
and filling my time, filling my space. And so I've been
Mm.
cultivating more waiting and I feel like I feel much more aligned to what I'm actually calling in life and
Man, that's a
into my
golden nugget
manifestation.
right there.
Mm,
That's
little
it.
nugget, little nuggy.
Yes. And I feel like we may have another episode on distractions.
Yeah. I just like, I don't know why I
Your
responded that
facial
way.
expression.
I don't even know why. Apparently, some part of me is just like, ugh.
It's heavy. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So maybe we can riff on
I'm
that.
like, I want to dive into it right now, but I'm just going to
I
like
know.
make
I
the
know.
face, let go,
Yes.
and wait for our next conversation.
We will wait for that opportunity. But we hope this was super helpful. This is like first of probably many around manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's a real thing
It's
and
real.
experiment with it all
Mm-hmm.
day, every day. Very much connected with waiting, surrendering, letting go.
Mm-hmm.
But we hope this was fun to kind of hear. I guess we just kind of hit on like major manifestations, but we'll
Yeah.
keep you
And like our
posted when the minor
style.
ones do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like our style. Hopefully, it was helpful to kind of hear how we've processed it and grown into the practice and cultivated it in our lives.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun too, maybe next conversation around this to talk about like how it relates to hard work. Because you're saying it's a real
Ooh.
thing, and I'm already hearing like different people say, well, you just work hard and get what you want. And I just feel like that's a whole, like, it's really hard to not dive into that right now. But we're
Ooh.
going to let this be what it is today.
Yes. Yes.
But if you're feeling that, just know more conversations are coming.
Oh, that's so good. Yes. I also want to talk more about that. So we will at a later date.
All right. But for now, we hope you are remembering I am getting clear on what you want, and let us know what you've been manifesting lately.
And I'll plug our
Big or small.
services here. For if this is something you're wanting one-on-one focus, Jenna has one-on-one, I have one-on-one. So you can, of course, reach out to us if you have any questions on that as well. Jenna, how do you want people to reach out to you these days?
That's a great question. I mean, I don't know.
That's okay. So just reach out to me and I'll let Jenna know.
You can still shoot us a DM on @WhileYouWait podcast. I'm still periodically checking that. I don't even know how long I'm going to be off social media.
Yeah.
So we'll find each other. Let's not worry about it.
I
You
love
shoot me a
that.
message. We'll find each other if we're meant to find each other. My screen still just keeps flickering. It's
Popping off.
insane. It's crazy. Something is here with us. I love it. But also, if you have just general questions as well about this episode, about the podcast, requests @WhileYouWait podcast on Instagram. If you love it, leave a rating and review on Apple, leave a rating on Spotify. And of course, if you've been listening, take a video or screenshot, share it on Instagram, and hashtag #ThisIsWaiting.
Would love it. So appreciate you all being here. And we're just going to keep the conversation going on our next podcast.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
A beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.